My name is Ethan, 35 years old, 12 years married, 2 kids, the best in the world, Zoe, almost 12 and full of fire, and Maya, 9, a quiet artist. My ex-wife was Clara, 34. And for most of our lives together, she was the sun, and I was just happy to orbit her. Before all the soap, the gurus, the infidelity, Clara was magic. We met in college, and it was instant. She had this way of making every day an adventure. Spontaneous picnics, dance parties in the kitchen, elaborate, handmade gifts for every occasion. She saw the beauty in everything. And when the girls came, she poured that same energy into motherhood. Lunches became works of art. Bedtime stories turned into full-blown theatrical productions. Sure, we had our fights, our stresses, but we were us. Solid. Then came Delilah, my older sister, divorced, bitter, and on a one-woman crusade for female empowerment after her dirtbag ex cheated on her. Delilah was always a little intense, but after the divorce, she was a different person, preaching about finding your authentic self and unlocking your feminine power. I shrugged it off. She was hurting. If Instagram quotes and self-help books made her feel better, who was I to judge? But then Delilah started spending more time with Clara. A lot more. The girls were in school full-time, and Clara was restless. I could see it. The spark that used to light her eyes dimmed. She'd always been creative, making scrapbooks, art projects with the kids. But lately, she was just glued to her phone, lost in some reality TV vortex. Delilah would show up 3-4 times a week for these sister sessions, as she called them. They'd sit in our kitchen, drinking coffee, talking about unleashing their potential. Delilah bombarded her with Instagram accounts of women building empires from their phones, selling crystals, essential oils, whatever. My parents, for God's sake, were all for it. "It's so nice the girls are bonding," my mom cooed. My dad just nodded, as always. Even Clara's parents thought she was finding her passion. Nobody saw what was coming. Nobody but me, maybe, and I didn't want to believe it. Clara started talking different. Everything became about mindset and abundance. She joined a million Facebook groups about mompreneurs and stayed up late watching YouTube videos on scaling your business. One night, she came to me buzzing with this idea. Soap. Not just any soap. Spiritual soap, infused with crystals. She had this whole elaborate plan to target the wellness community. And I actually thought it was a good idea. Clara was creative. She was good at marketing, and I wanted to be supportive. My dad always said a good husband supports his wife's dreams. So I jumped in 100%. I spent weeks helping her get started. I used my sales experience, glorified medical device salesman, that's me, to help her set up a website. I got her supplies, hired some tech guy to handle inventory and payments. It cost us around $3,000, but I figured it was worth it to see her excited again. Delilah, of course, was over constantly, helping with social media. They'd stage these elaborate photo shoots with the soap, crystals, flowers, special lighting, the whole 9 yards. Clara started calling herself a craftpreneur. That word made my skin crawl, but whatever. The first few months were good. Clara was happy. The house was clean. She needed a good background for her soap photos, naturally. And she was still involved with the kids. She'd even let them help with product development, which basically meant letting them pick scents and colors for new soaps. It was cute. Our friends bought her soap. Clara went to local craft fairs and actually sold stuff. She made these cute gift boxes with different soaps and crystals. And people loved them. Even the local yoga studio started carrying her stuff. I was proud of her. I kept telling everyone how amazing she was doing, how she'd built this business from scratch. Delilah, naturally, took all the credit, calling herself Clara's business mentor, which was bullshit. She just showed her how to use Instagram filters. Even my mom bought like 20 soap sets to give to her friends at church. Hindsight's 20/20ths, right? This was just the calm before the storm. For about 6 months, the business did well. Clara was making $5-6 grand a month. I was impressed. Not gonna lie. But then things started getting weird. It started small. Clara got invited to some women in business conference in Richmond. Cost like $800 for a weekend ticket. She was excited and the business could afford it, so why not? Delilah, naturally, went with her. God forbid Clara do anything without her business mentor. They came back different, like they'd joined some weird business cult. Suddenly, everything was about scaling and building your empire. Clara started buying these online courses about maximizing your feminine business energy. Whatever the hell that meant, she had Delilah over even more, and they'd spend hours planning Clara's ascension to CEO status of a soap company that operated out of our garage. Then came the changes to our routine. Clara used to make dinner every night. She was a great cook, but now she was too busy manifesting abundance to do mundane tasks. Direct quote, "I started picking up takeout on my way home from work because apparently cooking would diminish her CEO energy." The kids started noticing. Zoe had a big basketball tournament, and Clara missed it because she was doing some online masterclass about Instagram Reels. Maya's teacher called because she hadn't been doing her homework. Turns out Clara was too busy with her business strategy sessions to check it. Our garage turned into an insane soap factory. We couldn't even park the cars in there anymore because it was full of drying racks and boxes of supplies. The house always smelled like essential oils and sage, because apparently you have to sage your soap inventory for good business energy. I tried talking to her about it. Hey, maybe we should find a balance here? She looked at me like I'd told her the earth was flat. Ethan, you don't understand. This isn't just a business, it's a movement. We're helping women unlock their spiritual potential through mindful cleansing. I wish I was making this up. Delilah wasn't helping at all. She'd be there practically every day, encouraging this nonsense. Clara, you're such a visionary. You're going to be the next Gwyneth Paltrow, because that's what the world needs. Another overpriced wellness brand. The spending got crazy too. Clara started buying all this expensive office furniture for her CEO space, aka the spare room. She spent $1,200 on this fancy chair because abundant CEOs need abundant seating. She hired a business coach to help her step into her power and started going to all these networking events and seminars. Our joint account was getting drained for all this business crap. When I brought it up, she got super defensive. I'm investing in our future. You should be grateful I'm bringing in money. Most men would love to have a wife who's building an empire. The worst part? Our friends and family were still encouraging her. My mom kept sharing her business posts on Facebook. My dad told me I should be proud of having such an entrepreneurial wife. Even my friends were like, dude, she's killing it. You should be happy. They didn't see what was happening at home. The kids were eating cereal for dinner because mom was too busy doing Instagram lives about mindful soap creation. The house was a mess unless she was filming content. She started missing parent-teacher conferences because they conflicted with her mastermind sessions. One night, I found Zoe crying in her room. She'd gotten an A on her science project and wanted to show Clara, but Clara was too busy filming soap-making tutorials to look at it. That hit me hard. What the hell happened to my wife who used to be so excited about every little thing the kids did? I tried everything to get her interested in, literally anything else. Booked us this weekend getaway at that resort she always talked about. She canceled last minute because of some emergency business strategy session. Got her into this fancy cooking class she used to love before all this started. She left halfway through because she needed to align her business energy, or whatever. Even tried getting her back into doing stuff with the kids, like she used to. Remember those amazing scrapbooks she made for their birthdays? Nope. Apparently, that was limiting her entrepreneurial potential. Who even talks like that? When I brought up how much the kids miss spending time with her, she just gave me this condescending look and said, "Men often try to dim a woman's light when she starts to shine too bright." Yeah, that's it. I'm intimidated by your magic soap business that's taking over our garage and ruining our family. I was starting to hate all this spiritual business talk. At that point, Clara was making decent money, but spending it all on those weird business courses and mindset coaching. And that's when Blaine showed up. Blaine. God, where do I even start? She met him at some entrepreneur conference in DC, came home talking about this amazing business coach who had revolutionized the spiritual product industry. According to his Instagram, which I later checked out naturally, he was some kind of business guru who helped heart-centered entrepreneurs scale their divine businesses. I'm not even joking, that's exactly what his bio said. Blaine was every stereotypical business coach you can imagine. Always wearing these tight blue suits, had that perfect, too white smile, posted constant photos of himself working in exotic locations. Total douche vibes. But Clara? Oh man, she was completely starstruck. The first red flag was the price of his coaching program. He wanted $15,000 for 6 months of coaching. $15,000 to teach someone how to sell soap. I nearly fell off my chair when Clara told me. But she had already paid the deposit using business funds before even talking to me about it. It's an investment in our future, Ethan. Blaine has helped other spiritual entrepreneurs scale to 7 figures. That was her justification. She kept showing me these testimonials from his other clients, all saying how he helped them manifest abundance and crap like that. The coaching started with these weekly Zoom calls that had to be in the evening because apparently soap business strategy can only be discussed after 8 p.m. Clara would get all dressed up for these video calls, like she was going to a fancy dinner. Full makeup, nice outfits, the works. For a Zoom call about soap, then came the intensive strategy sessions that had to be in person. These meetings were always at some fancy hotel lobby or upscale coffee shop, never at like an actual office or something normal. And they always seemed to run late into the evening. Delilah, who was still hanging around all the time, thought Blaine was the best thing since sliced bread. OMG, Clara, he's such a visionary. And he totally gets the divine feminine energy of your brand. She'd help Clara get ready for these coaching sessions like she was preparing her for prom or something. The kids started asking questions I couldn't really answer. Why does mom dress up to talk about soap? How come she can go to business meetings but not my dance recital? Maya's teacher emailed me again because Clara missed another parent-teacher conference. Apparently, she had an emergency strategy session with Blaine. The breaking point for me was when Zoe got sick at school. She had a fever and needed to be picked up. I was in the middle of a huge project at work and couldn't leave. Called Clara. Straight to voicemail. Texted her. No response. Finally got a hold of Delilah, who told me Clara was in a session with Blaine and couldn't be disturbed. I had to make up some excuse at work and go get my kid because my wife was too busy manifesting with her business coach to take care of our sick daughter. When I finally got hold of Clara that night, she acted like I was being unreasonable for being upset. Ethan, Blaine says a true CEO has to make hard choices sometimes. You're just not thinking abundantly enough. Around this time, the business actually started making less money. Clara was so focused on scaling and building her empire that she was neglecting the actual soap making. Orders were going out late. Customers were complaining about quality. But she didn't care because she was too busy planning her ascension to 7 figures. I started documenting everything. The missed school events, the late-night coaching sessions, the money being spent on Blaine's program. Something felt really off about the whole situation. I also started paying more attention to Clara's schedule. Those coaching sessions were getting more frequent and always at weird times. She'd come home late smelling like expensive cologne, not the essential oils she usually reeked of. I'm not proud of this part, but I started checking our credit card statements more carefully. Found charges from hotels near where these business meetings were happening. Not exactly the kind of places you discuss soap marketing, if you know what I mean. But I didn't have solid proof yet. Part of me didn't want to believe it. Maybe there was some explanation that wouldn't destroy our family. Then, one Tuesday afternoon, I got this text from Zoe that changed everything. Dad, Mom's with that business coach at the mall. They're kissing. Maya won't stop crying. Please come get us. That text shattered my whole world. My daughters, 11 and 9 years old, had to watch their mom make out with another man in the middle of a public Starbucks. They were supposed to be having a fun day at the mall with their friend's mom. Instead, they got to see their mother destroy our family right in front of them. I canceled my afternoon hospital appointments, A doctor's office wanted a demo of this new surgical tool. I was pretty much on my way when the text came. I barely remember telling them I needed to reschedule. The drive there was a blur. All I could think about was how I'd practically gift-wrapped this nightmare. $3,000 to start her business, the fancy lighting setup for her soap photos, the inventory tracking system. I'd been so proud of supporting her dreams, of being that understanding husband who helped his wife find her passion. What a joke. I basically paid for front row seats to watch my marriage implode. Every encouraging word, every time I told her, "You can do this, honey," every dollar I'd invested, I might as well have been building the stage where she'd eventually perform her betrayal. The steering wheel creaked under my grip as I fought the urge to punch something. Some supportive husband I turned out to be. So busy patting myself on the back for helping her start a business that I didn't notice. She was starting something else entirely. With Blaine, I sent the girls to their rooms when we got home. They didn't need to see what was coming next. They'd seen enough of their father's failures for one day. Then I waited, paced around our kitchen like a caged animal, staring at that damn text from Zoe over and over. 11 words that just nuked our entire family. Clara practically danced through the door around 7 p.m., looking like she'd just won the lottery. Her cheeks were flushed, hair slightly messy. Now I knew why. Wearing this new outfit I'd never seen before. She's rambling on about her amazing breakthrough day and how Blaine helped her unlock her next level of abundance. Didn't even notice the kids weren't around. Not a single, "Where are the girls?" Just kept going on about her fantastic day of business development. I didn't say a word, just stood there, arms shaking with rage, as I held up my phone with Zoe's text. Watched her face do this whole performance. First, this confused puppy look, head tilted like she's trying to decode hieroglyphics. Then, this flash of panic when reality hit her. "Oh, Ethan!" She laughed. Actually laughed. The girls probably just misunderstood what they saw. You know how kids can be, always making up stories. I kept staring, my jaw clenched so tight. I thought my teeth might shatter. "Honey, you don't understand." She tried again, switching to her spiritual guru voice. Blaine and I were just doing an intensive energy alignment session. Energy alignment? I exploded, my voice bouncing off the kitchen walls. "Is that what you call making out with your business coach at Starbucks in front of our daughters?" She had the audacity to roll her eyes at me. Actually rolled her eyes like I was some backwards caveman who just didn't get it. "God, Ethan, you're so traditional. This is a modern business relationship. Blaine and I have a deep spiritual connection. I'm actually setting a powerful example for our girls about female empowerment and following your truth." Something in me snapped. I slammed my hand on the counter so hard everything rattled. My phone bounced and skidded across the granite. Pretty sure I heard something crack. Either the phone screen or my last nerve. She started fixing her hair like we were discussing the weather. "You're obviously the problem here, Ethan. You've always held me back from reaching my full potential. You just don't understand the depth of what Blaine and I are building. I've never wanted to flip a table more in my life." 12 years of marriage, and my wife was standing in our kitchen, preening in the microwave reflection, justifying cheating on me as some kind of feminist business strategy, all while our daughters were upstairs, their worlds shattered because mommy was too busy manifesting her truth to remember she had a family. "You're right," I said, my voice deadly calm. I don't understand how you could do this to our kids. I don't understand how you could throw away our family for some con artist in a blue suit. And I really don't understand how you can stand there fixing your hair when your daughters are upstairs crying." She just kept primping, muttering about my negative energy and how I was blocking her abundance. That's when I knew the woman I married was gone, replaced by whatever this spiritual soap CEO monster was. I called Delilah right after. Guess what? She knew, had known for weeks. My own sister had been covering for Clara, telling me she was at business development workshops when she was really meeting Blaine at hotels. Delilah's response? Clara's just living her truth and expanding her feminine energy. What the actual hell? After that fight with Clara, I drove around for hours. Couldn't go home. Couldn't face the kids. Couldn't process how my whole family was falling apart. When I finally got back, my parents' car was in the driveway. Great. Walking in, I found the typical drama setup. Clara at the kitchen table, crying her fake tears. My mom hugging her like she's some wounded angel. Dad standing uselessly in the corner. And Delilah. Oh, Delilah, pacing around like some cut-rate lawyer about to deliver her closing argument. How dare you? Delilah launched at me the second I walked in. She actually pushed me. Both hands, right in the chest. You egotistical, controlling piece of crap. Clara's building an empire, and you're trying to tear her down because you can't handle a strong woman. I caught her wrists before she could shove me again. Don't touch me, Delilah. Not after what your friend did to my kids today. Let go of your sister, Mom yelled, still hugging Clara. Your precious Clara was making out with her business coach at the mall in front of my daughters? In front of your nieces. Delilah yanked her hands away. That's a business relationship. You wouldn't understand the deep connection entrepreneurs develop just because your marriage is so primitive and traditional. Primitive? I was done. So done. You want to talk primitive? Let's talk about how you've been covering for her, making excuses when she misses the kids' events, lying about where she is. Tell me, Delilah, how many hotel rooms have you booked for their business meetings? Clara's head snapped up. Delilah went white. Bingo! Yeah, I know about that too. You think I don't see the receipts? The room charges? The business dinners? What kind of aunt helps destroy her niece's family? You're twisting everything! Delilah was screaming now. Just like David did to me. Don't you dare compare me to your ex. David cheated on you. Or did you forget that part? Now you're helping Clara do the same thing to me. What happened to cheaters are scum, Delilah? Or does that only apply when it's happening to you? Mom jumped in. Don't talk to your sister like that. No, let him talk. Delilah stepped right up to my face. Let him show everyone exactly why Clara needed to find support elsewhere. You're pathetic, you know that? You're afraid of your wife's success. Can't support her dreams. Can't ignore her screwing her business coach. Can't pretend it's normal when my kids have to see their mom with another man. Tell me, Delilah, what exactly should I be handling better? That's when we heard the crying upstairs. Maya. Delilah tried to push past me to the stairs, probably to play the caring aunt. I grabbed her arm. Don't you dare go near my kids. You lost that right when you helped their mother cheat on their father. They need their mother. Delilah yanked away from me. Their mother. Zoe's voice from the top of the stairs stopped everyone cold. Our mother doesn't care about us anymore. She cares about Blaine. And Aunt Delilah helps her. We're not stupid. The look on Delilah's face was like someone had slapped her. Good. I hope it hurt. The rest of that night was a blur of more screaming, more accusations, more of Delilah's feminist buzzwords thrown around like confetti. But that moment, seeing Delilah realize the kids knew about her part in all this, almost worth it. A week passed. Clara was still at my parents', playing the victim. Then, apparently, she went to Delilah's place because Delilah was over every day trying to get the kids to visit their mom. They refused. That's when things got ugly. Instead of rushing to a lawyer, I played it smart. I moved money faster than Clara could say manifest abundance. Got a new account set up and started treating our family finances like the business she always wanted to run. Funny how she wasn't so excited about abundant entrepreneur energy when it meant actually paying for stuff. The look on my parents' faces when they tried calling me cruel for cutting off their precious spiritual entrepreneur? Pure gold. Mom was all, how could you do this to the mother of your children? Until I dropped all the evidence folders on their kitchen table. Hotel receipts, coaching session payments, time-stamped photos, the whole 9 yards. My dad, who usually has the emotional range of a garden gnome, actually muttered, well, damn, when he saw the credit card statements. Coming from him, that's basically like a 3-hour monologue. Meanwhile, Clara's soap empire was crumbling faster than her crystal-infused bars in hot water. Remember all those manifestation posts about scaling to 7 figures? Yeah, turns out manifesting doesn't pay the bills. Who knew? Orders were piling up, unfulfilled. Customers were demanding refunds. And her spiritual business community was starting to see through the rose quartz tinted glasses. Here's where I got creative. And by creative, I mean absolutely truthful. Started leaving honest reviews about her products online. No rage, no drama, just straight facts. Order number 127 never arrived. Multiple emails ignored. Requested refund. Product quality inconsistent. Crystals fell out of soap after one use. Not as advertised. Simple, right? Turns out I wasn't the only one holding back. Once one person spoke up, the floodgates opened. It was like watching dominoes fall if the dominoes were overpriced soap bars. Those fancy yoga studios that used to stock her products? Gone. The Instagram influencers she paid to promote her sacred cleansing journey or whatever? Ghosted faster than a Tinder date. Who finds out you're not actually a Bitcoin millionaire? Her wholesale accounts dried up quicker than her soap in a steam room. Then Blaine, our favorite tight suit, wearing gurus, straight up vanished when the coaching fees stopped rolling in. Who would have thought a guy charging $15,000 to teach people how to sell soap wasn't actually interested in their spiritual journey? The moment Clara couldn't make the payments, he was gone. No more late-night strategy sessions, no more emergency business meetings, no more nothing. The best part in all that is I didn't have to do anything except sit back and watch. No screaming, no fighting, just the sweet sound of reality finally catching up with delusion. Delilah tried to do damage control. Bless her heart. She was posting these long-winded Instagram captions about weathering storms and rising from adversity faster than Clara could burn sage. But here's the thing about reality. It doesn't care about your hashtags. Clara couldn't even keep her phone on anymore. Remember how she used to be glued to it, always connecting with her audience and building her community? Now she couldn't even afford the bill. Delilah wasn't doing much better. Turns out, covering for your friend's affair and enabling her business fantasies doesn't actually pay the bills. Who knew? The landlord finally kicked them both out when the rent checks bounced harder than their abundance mindset off actual business reality. Want to know the definition of karma? Watching two boss babes realize their manifestation journals won't actually manifest rent money. With nowhere else to go, I heard that Clara, our spiritual soap queen, shows up at her parents' doorstep with all her CEO energy deflated like a week-old balloon. Her parents, who had been her biggest cheerleaders in this whole mess, had finally seen enough receipts and evidence to realize their daughter wasn't exactly living her authentic truth. Unless that truth involved hotel rooms with Blaine, they actually turned her away. And let me tell you, watching my former in-laws choose reality over their daughter's BS was like watching pigs fly while riding unicorns. But here's where it gets really good. Delilah, the original feminine power guru who started this whole mess, well, she went crawling back to her ex. Yeah, that ex. The same guy she spent 3 years calling every name in the book on Instagram. The dude she claimed was dimming her light and suppressing her feminine energy. Suddenly, he was her stable foundation and proof that love conquers all. The mental gymnastics Delilah pulled to justify this move would have won her Olympic gold. Her Instagram went from men are trash to sometimes. The universe brings people back together for a reason faster than you can say hypocrite. She even had the audacity to post a 12-part series about forgiveness and growth, while conveniently forgetting all those posts about how her ex was basically Satan in business casual. Meanwhile, Clara ended up in this tiny one-bedroom apartment that looked like a soap warehouse had a baby with a crystal shop. Boxes of unsold inventory everywhere. We're talking floor-to-ceiling stacks of spiritual soap that nobody wanted. Those same products she swore would make her millions were now basically really expensive air fresheners. The irony of her being surrounded by cleaning products while her life was this messy, Chef's kiss. After a month, I found out that these two brilliant minds decided their next move should be starting a spiritual coaching business. Because apparently, the best time to start coaching others is right after you've spectacularly failed at everything yourself. Shockingly, nobody was buying what they were selling anymore. Turns out, when people watch you crash and burn your soap empire, they're not super keen on paying you for life advice. Their social media engagement dropped faster than their credibility, which was already somewhere in the Earth's core at this point. While all this was going down, I was focused on one thing: getting legally untangled from this mess and focusing on my kids. Got myself the kind of lawyer who eats entrepreneurs' energy for breakfast. The evidence pile I handed him was thicker than Clara's manifestation journal. Every bank statement, every delusional business expense, all meticulously documented. You should have seen Clara trying to play the victim in court. She pulled out all the stops. Tears on command, stories about sacrificing her successful marketing career for our family, conveniently forgetting she left that job to sell magical soap, claims about how she deserved spousal support because she was finding herself. My lawyer shut that down faster than Blaine shut down her calls when the money ran out. Then came the custody battle. Or should I say, attempted custody battle. Clara tried pushing for joint custody, probably thinking she could secure some child support to fund her next spiritual venture. But here's the thing about kids: they see right through BS. Zoe and Maya, bless their hearts, stood up in court and basically said thanks, but no thanks to living with mom full-time. Watching their faces as they told the truth about all the missed events, the neglect, the Blaine situation, that was harder than watching the soap empire crumble. The judge's verdict was sweeter than validation from your Reddit community. I got primary custody. Clara got supervised visitation. Turns out courts aren't super impressed by parents who choose business coaching sessions over sick kids. And the financial settlement? Let's just say Clara's abundance didn't translate to actual assets. The moment those papers were signed, I swear I lost 150 pounds of dead weight instantly. Funny how letting go of a soap entrepreneur can do that to you. It's been about a month since the divorce was finalized. I'd settled into a pretty good routine with the kids. Zoe joined the school basketball team. Turns out, when your mom actually shows up to games, you feel like playing more. And Maya's grades were back up since someone was actually checking her homework again. The house smelled like normal house stuff instead of whatever the hell divine prosperity sage and lavender was supposed to be. Then, one random Tuesday night around 9 p.m., there's this knock at my door. Not like a normal knock. More like that sad, pathetic kind of knock that screams, "I've hit rock bottom and kept digging." I open up, and there's Clara, looking like she just lost a fight with a Sephora store and a self-help bookshelf. Her woman power suit was replaced with yoga pants that had definitely seen better days, and her abundant entrepreneur makeup was looking more raccoon after an all-nighter. The transformation from spiritual business goddess to reality hit me like a truck. It was almost artistic. "Ethan?" she sniffled, trying to make her voice do that thing that used to work on me. "I don't want to be an entrepreneur anymore," I burst out laughing. Like, congratulations on finally catching up to what literally everyone else knew months ago. But I just stood there, wondering if Mercury was in Gatorade or whatever she used to blame things on. Oh, I couldn't resist. So, running an empire isn't your life's purpose anymore? What happened to the strong, independent woman vibe? She tried to force this sad little smile like we were sharing some inside joke about the whole thing. But here's the thing, it's only funny when both people are laughing. And I definitely wasn't laughing. "I messed up," she admitted, her voice cracking like her business model. "I got caught up in it all, and I held up my hand. The same hand that used to help her package soap, that used to wipe our kids' tears when they couldn't understand why mommy missed another school event. Save it. You didn't just mess up. You burned everything down. And you didn't just hurt me. You hurt our kids." Her face did this thing where it kind of crumbled, like one of her handmade soap bars left in the rain. I don't know what to do anymore. I got flashbacks of all those nights I sat up with Maya while she cried because her mom was too busy aligning her business chakras to read her a bedtime story. All those times Zoe's face fell when Clara's seat was empty at her games because she had another emergency strategy session with Blaine. You figure it out, I said, stepping back. That's what CEOs do, right? And I shut the door. Through the grapevine, aka my mom, who still talks to everyone, I heard Delilah's still with her ex, probably writing LinkedIn posts about coming full circle and divine timing or whatever. My parents and I are kind of okay now. We do Sunday dinners, but there's this unspoken thing where we all pretend the last year didn't happen. Some trust just doesn't grow back, you know? Me? I'm doing pretty good. Started dating a bit. Nothing serious. Just coffee meets with normal women who don't think crystals can fix everything. Zoe and Maya are thriving. Turns out, kids do better when their parent actually parents. Who knew? The garage is finally clear of all that soap inventory. Donated most of it to a homeless shelter. But I kept one bar. It sits on my desk at work. This weird purple thing with a crystal stuck in it. Whenever I have a rough day, I look at it and think, well, at least I'm not trying to build a spiritual soap empire. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just living well and keeping one ridiculous soap bar as a reminder that reality always wins in the end, even against the strongest abundant CEO energy. And that Reddit is how my marriage dissolved faster than a soap bar in hot water. At least we can say it was a clean break, right? But dump? See, I'll see myself out. Weeks bleed into months. The rhythm of our new normal settles in. A steady beat of school runs, basketball practices, homework help, and Sunday dinners with the parents, the unspoken agreement hanging heavy in the air, a silent pact to erase the past from our collective memory. The dating scene is underwhelming. A series of polite conversations, awkward silences, and the faint scent of desperation clinging to the air. I'm a good catch, I know that. Decent job, own my home, actively involved in my kids' lives. But the baggage is heavy, a lead weight chained to my ankle, dragging behind me with every hesitant step forward. Every woman I meet is subconsciously compared to Clara, the Clara before the soap, the Blaine, the betrayal. It's unfair, I know, but I can't seem to shake the ghost of what was. One Saturday morning, Maya comes to me with a request. Dad, can we go to the craft store? My stomach clenches. The craft store. It used to be our happy place, a kaleidoscope of colors and textures where Clara's creativity bloomed, where the girls' imaginations ran wild. Now it's just another painful reminder. What do you need from the craft store, honey? I ask, trying to keep my voice neutral. I want to make a scrapbook for Zoe's basketball team, she says, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. To celebrate their season, a scrapbook, like Clara used to make. That's a great idea, Maya, I say, forcing a smile. Let's go after lunch. Walking through the aisles of the craft store is like navigating a minefield. Every display, every product triggers a memory. Ribbons, glue sticks, glitter, felt, the raw materials of Clara's creativity, now tainted by the bitterness of her betrayal. I see Maya carefully selecting her supplies, her brow furrowed in concentration, and a wave of guilt washes over me. I can't let Clara's actions steal this from her, from us. We spend the afternoon working on the scrapbook together, cutting, pasting, and arranging photos of Zoe and her teammates. Maya is a natural, her artistic talent evident in every detail. As we work, I share stories about Zoe's games, about her determination and her infectious spirit. I watch Maya's face light up as she listens, and I realize that this is what matters. This connection, this shared experience, is what will heal us. Later that night, as I'm tucking Maya into bed, she says, Dad, do you think Mommy misses us? The question hits me like a punch to the gut. I don't want to lie to her, but I also don't want to shatter her heart. I don't know, honey, I say gently. But I know that Zoe and I love you very much, and we're always going to be here for you. She nods, her eyes heavy with sleep. I love you too, Dad. As I leave her room, I feel a profound sense of sadness. Not just for Maya, but for Clara. For the woman she used to be, the woman we all loved. The woman who is now lost, buried beneath layers of delusion and self-deception. A few weeks later, I get a call from Zoe's basketball coach. "Ethan, Zoe's been acting out lately?" he says. "She's been arguing with the other girls, skipping practices, and just generally being disruptive." My heart sinks. Zoe has always been the strong one, the resilient one, the one who seemed to weather the storm of our divorce with grace and maturity. To hear that she's struggling is a wake-up call. I sit down with Zoe and try to talk to her, but she's closed off, refusing to open up. "I'm fine, Dad," she says, her voice flat. "Just leave me alone. I know I need to tread carefully." I can't force her to talk, but I also can't ignore the problem. I decide to try a different approach. I start spending more quality time with her, just the two of us. We go to her favorite restaurant, see a movie, and just hang out, talking about everything and nothing. Slowly, she starts to thaw, the ice around her heart beginning to melt. One evening, as we're sitting on the couch watching TV, she says, "Dad, do you ever get angry at Mom?" A question hangs in the air, heavy with unspoken emotions. "Of course I do, Zoe," I say honestly. What she did was wrong, and it hurt all of us. But I try not to let the anger consume me. "It's not fair," she says, her voice trembling. "She ruined everything." "I know," I say, wrapping my arm around her. "But we can't let her ruin our lives, Zoe. We have to move on, to build a new life for ourselves." She leans into me, her body shaking with sobs. "I miss her, Dad," she whispers. "I miss the way she used to be." "I know, honey," I say, my own voice thick with emotion. "I miss her too." That night, as I'm lying in bed, I think about Clara, about the choices she made, the path she chose. And I realize that while I can't forgive her for what she did, I can release her from the prison of my anger. I can let go of the bitterness and the resentment and focus on healing myself and my daughters. A few months later, I'm at a work conference in Richmond, the same city where Clara attended that fateful Women in Business conference that set everything in motion. The irony is not lost on me. The conference is mind-numbingly boring, a series of dry presentations and awkward networking events. I'm just going through the motions, trying to make a good impression on my boss and secure that promotion I've been working towards. On the second day of the conference, I'm grabbing a coffee at a small cafe near the convention center when I see her. Clara. She's sitting at a table by the window, her head bent over a laptop. She looks different, tired. Her hair is pulled back in a messy bun, and she's wearing a simple, unadorned dress. The CEO power suit is long gone. My first instinct is to turn and run, to avoid the confrontation, the awkwardness, the pain. But something stops me, a strange mixture of curiosity and pity. I take a deep breath and walk over to her table. "Clara?" I say, my voice barely above a whisper. She looks up, her eyes widening in surprise. For a moment, she just stares at me, her expression unreadable. Then a flicker of recognition crosses her face. "Ethan," she says, her voice hesitant. "What are you doing here?" "I'm here for a work conference," I say. "What about you?" She hesitates for a moment, then says, "I'm trying to start a new business." "Oh," I say, my voice flat. "What kind of business?" "It's complicated," she says, avoiding my gaze. "It's a consulting business, helping small business owners with their marketing. A consulting business." So she's gone from selling spiritual soap to giving marketing advice. The irony is almost comical. "How's it going?" I ask, unable to resist the question. She sighs. "It's difficult. I'm struggling to get clients." I nod, understanding more than she knows. Her reputation is ruined, her credibility shattered. Who would trust her with their marketing budget after what she's done? We sit in silence for a few moments, the tension between us palpable. Then she says, "Ethan, I wanted to apologize for everything." I look at her, searching her face for any sign of sincerity. "It's a little late for that, Clara," I say, my voice cold. "I know," she says, her eyes filling with tears. "But I wanted you to know that I'm trying to be a better person. I'm going to therapy, working on myself." I don't say anything. I don't know what to say. I want to believe her, but I'm afraid to. afraid to open myself up to the possibility of being hurt again. "How are the girls?" she asks, her voice barely above a whisper. "They're fine," I say, my voice tight. "They're doing well in school, playing sports. They're happy. I miss them," she says, her voice cracking. I miss them so much. I look away, unable to bear the sight of her pain. "They miss you too, Clara," I say softly. "But they need you to be better. They need you to be someone they can look up to." She nods, her tears streaming freely down her face. "I know," she whispers. "I'm trying. I really am." I stand up to leave, the weight of our shared history pressing down on me. "Good luck, Clara," I say, my voice devoid of emotion. As I walk away, I can feel her gaze on my back. I don't turn around. I don't want to see the desperation in her eyes, the remnants of the woman I once loved. That night, I can't sleep. Clara's face keeps flashing before my eyes. Her tears, her apology. I find myself wondering if she's truly changed, if she's truly remorseful for what she's done. But then I remember Zoe and Maya, their hurt, their confusion, their pain. And I know that even if Clara has changed, it doesn't erase the past. It doesn't undo the damage she's caused. A few weeks after the Richmond encounter, Zoe comes to me with a request. "Dad, can I see Mom?" My stomach drops. I thought we were past this. I thought she understood why it was better for everyone if Clara stayed out of our lives. "Why do you want to see her, Zoe?" I ask, my voice cautious. I want to talk to her," she says, her eyes pleading. "I want to know why she did what she did." I hesitate. I don't want to expose her to Clara's instability, to the possibility of being hurt again. But I also don't want to deny her the chance to find closure, to understand her mother's actions. "Okay," I say finally, "but I'm going with you." We arrange a supervised visit at a local park. I watch as Zoe approaches Clara, her steps hesitant. They embrace, a brief, awkward hug. I stay back, giving them space to talk. I can see their lips moving, but I can't hear what they're saying. I watch Zoe's face, searching for any sign of distress. After about an hour, they walk over to me, hand in hand. Zoe's face is calm, her eyes clear. "Dad, can I talk to you alone?" she asks. I nod, and we walk away from Clara towards a secluded bench. "I understand now, Dad," Zoe says, her voice steady. "Mom was lost. She made a mistake, a big mistake. But she's sorry." "I know, honey," I say. "But that doesn't excuse what she did." "I know," she says, "but I can forgive her." I can't forget, but I can forgive. Her words hit me hard. Zoe, my 11-year-old daughter, is showing more compassion and understanding than I thought possible. "What about you, Dad?" she asks, looking directly at me. "Can you forgive her?" I hesitate. Can I? Can I truly let go of the anger and resentment that have been consuming me for so long? I look back at Clara, standing alone in the park, her face etched with sadness. And I realize that holding on to the anger is only hurting me, and it's hurting my daughters. "I don't know, Zoe," I say honestly, "but I'm going to try." We walk back to Clara, and I say, "Zoe and I have to go now, but we'll see you again soon." Clara nods, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Ethan," she says. "Thank you for giving me this chance." As we walk away, Zoe takes my hand. "It's going to be okay, Dad," she says, her voice filled with hope. "We're going to be okay." Years pass. The raw edges of the divorce soften, the pain fading into a dull ache. Zoe and Maya grow into remarkable young women, independent, intelligent, and compassionate. They maintain a relationship with Clara, albeit a distant one. Clara, true to her word, works hard to rebuild her life. She starts a legitimate marketing business. And while she never achieves the success she once craved, she finds a measure of fulfillment in helping small businesses thrive. I start dating again, more cautiously this time, more aware of the pitfalls and complexities of relationships. I meet someone special, a woman named Sarah. She's kind, intelligent, and grounded. She understands my past, my baggage, and accepts me for who I am. One day, Sarah and I are at Maya's art show. Maya is now a successful artist, her work displayed in galleries around the world. As we're admiring her paintings, I see Clara standing across the room. She catches my eye and smiles, a genuine, heartfelt smile. I smile back, a small, hesitant smile. Later, she approaches us. "Ethan, Sarah, it's so good to see you," she says. "Clara, this is Sarah," I say. "Sarah, this is Clara, Zoe, and Maya's mother." Sarah extends her hand. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Clara," she says. They chat for a few minutes about Maya's art, about Zoe's latest accomplishments. The conversation is easy, comfortable, devoid of tension. As Clara walks away, Sarah turns to me. "She seems like she's doing well," she says. "She is," I say. It took her a long time, but she finally found her way. We watch Maya accept an award for her artwork. Looking at my daughters, thriving, happy, and successful, I realize that despite the pain and the betrayal, we made it through. We survived, and we emerged stronger, more resilient, and more compassionate. The scent of betrayal may linger, a faint reminder of the past, but it's no longer overpowering. It's just a background note, a subtle spice in the complex aroma of our lives. We have found peace, forgiveness, and a glimmer of hope for the future. And that, I realize, is all that truly matters. Years continue to slip by, marked by milestones and quiet joys. Zoe excels in her career, becoming a respected doctor, driven by a desire to heal and help others, a stark contrast to her mother's earlier obsession with spiritual cleansing through overpriced soap. Maya's art gains international acclaim, her canvases reflecting a deep understanding of human emotions, born from the first-hand experience of family turmoil and the quiet strength she witnessed in its aftermath. Sarah and I build a solid, loving relationship, a testament to second chances and the power of shared experiences to forge unbreakable bonds. We travel, laugh, and support each other through life's inevitable ups and downs. She integrates seamlessly into Zoe and Maya's lives, becoming a cherished figure, a stable and supportive presence they can always rely on. Clara, too, finds a measure of contentment. Her marketing business thrives, and she dedicates much of her free time to mentoring young entrepreneurs, steering them away from the pitfalls of unrealistic expectations and the lure of quick-fix guru schemes. She becomes a regular at Maya's art shows, a silent admirer, and she and Zoe forge a tentative, respectful friendship built on honesty and a shared desire to move forward. My parents, after initial disapproval of Sarah, come to adore her. They see the stability and happiness she brings to my life, and in their own quiet way, acknowledge the mistakes they made in enabling Clara's earlier delusions. Delilah, after her predictable and messy breakup with her ex again, begins to heal from her own wounds, focusing on genuine self-improvement rather than chasing fleeting validation through social media trends. And the soap bar? The purple, crystal-studded soap bar that sat on my desk for so many years? It's still there. Not on my desk anymore, but carefully tucked away in a drawer in my office at home. It's faded, cracked, and probably completely useless as a cleansing agent. The crystal has long since fallen off and been lost to the vacuum cleaner, but I can't bring myself to throw it away. It's more than just a memento of a painful past. It's a symbol, a reminder of how easily we can be seduced by false promises, how quickly we can lose sight of what truly matters in the pursuit of fleeting dreams. One afternoon, Maya visits me at home. She's in town for a few days, preparing for a major exhibition in a nearby city. We're sitting in the garden, enjoying the warm sunshine and the fragrant blooms. "What is that old soap bar, Dad? I've always wondered about it," she says, pointing to the drawer where I keep it. I hesitate, then shrug. "It's a reminder," I say. "A reminder of a lot of things." I pull out the soap bar and show it to her. She examines it carefully, a faint smile playing on her lips. "It's kind of ugly, actually," she says. "It is," I agree. "But it tells a story about love, loss, betrayal, and ultimately, about redemption." I share the story with her, the whole story from beginning to end. The soap-making craze, the manipulative guru, the affair, the divorce, and the slow, painstaking process of healing and forgiveness. When I finish, she's silent for a moment. Then, she says, "It sounds like you learned a lot, Dad." "I did," I say. "I learned that true strength comes not from building an empire, but from building strong relationships. And that true happiness comes not from chasing fleeting dreams, but from appreciating the simple things in life." She takes my hand, her touch warm and comforting. "I'm glad you did, Dad," she says, "because those are the lessons I want to learn too." I look at her, my beautiful, talented daughter, and I realize that the story of the soap bar is not just my story, it's her story too. It's a story about resilience, about hope, and about the enduring power of love to overcome even the darkest of times. Later that evening, after Maya has left, I take the soap bar out of the drawer and hold it in my hand. I look at its faded colors, its cracked surface, and its missing crystal. And I realize that it's not just a reminder of the past, it's also a testament to the future. A testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to heal, to forgive, and to find happiness, even in the face of adversity. Maybe, just maybe, there was a little bit of magic in that soap bar after all. Not the kind, Clara thought, the sort that manifests abundance, but the magic of hard-won experience, of enduring bonds, and of the stubborn will to heal and create a good and beautiful life. And I was lucky, in a way. I didn't scale to 7 figures, but I scaled back to something so much more valuable. My family, and I think that's enough of an abundance, no manifestation journal required. I carefully put the soap bar back in the drawer, close it, and turn to face the future. A future filled with hope, love, and the quiet contentment of a life well lived. And I know with absolute certainty that everything is going to be okay. Everything already is okay.